Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Life According to Nikki. Today's episode is actually 3 different episodes blended into one harmonious, beautiful episode. Did I say that? Harmonious? Yeah, that feels right. It's a blended creation. Basically what happened was I had 3 different things that I watched on different days, and I had to talk about them, obviously. And I just got on, recorded whatever I had to say about the show or movie that I watched, and then I left. And then I came back, did it so you get what I'm saying. I did it for 3 different things. So that's what today's episode is going to be. It's just going to be 3 different show reviews. I guess 2 shows and a movie. And that's it. That's what we're going to chat about today. So settle in, get the popcorn out or your cleaning supplies. I know so many of you have messaged me and say that you listen to this podcast while you clean your house. And I love that for you. I absolutely love that. So girl, get out the sponge, get out the Clorox. Yes, get everything prepared, the vacuum, your AirPods, whatever it is that you need. And we're going to get into... I'll tease it. We're going to talk about Department Q, We Were Liars, and my Oxford year. So get ready and let's get to it. Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that. You guys, it is 10 p.m. I got out of bed. I am doing this basically in the dark right now. But I have to tell you about what I just watched. I can't close my peepers until I tell you about Department Q. Started it last night on Netflix. Okay, started it about, 9 p.m. and stayed up until 1:30 until I bossed myself into going to sleep like the adult I am. I was like, hello? You have church in the morning, you Christian adult. You must go to sleep. So I did. And then I waited all day until I was able to watch the show again. And let me tell you, so good. So good. I wish that I could just come up with something better to say, but you guys, the anxiety that I had, it was midway through episode 2 that I was looking up the spoilers. I mean, hello, we know I can't take the stress. But even that final episode, I'm like, I can't breathe. I'm struggling to breathe right now just thinking about it. It was so good. Department Q on Netflix. Plus, it has freaking Matthew Good, however the heck you say his name on it, who I've loved him since Leap Year, all right? When he told me, how does he say it? Throw your shoes in the wash, they'll be grand. Yeah, no, fell in love with that man back in the day, okay, when I was a preteen, and now here we are, and he's back at it again with a beard and a bad attitude. Yes. 100%. I also watched A Man on the Inside, and that was really cute. All right, but let's get into it. What made Department Q so good? Was it Matthew Good? Yes. It was just within 3 minutes of starting this show, I was hooked. I was there. I was so into it. Okay, let me just set the scene. All right, you're going to start this show about this cop that has an attitude problem. Let's just be real. He is a real jerk to everyone around him. Hard to get along with. General bad attitude. The type of guy I would say, girl, stay away from him as far as you can get. In fact, do a preemptive restraining order just in case. He is not the type of guy we get involved with. That's what I would tell a friend. But, it makes a good cop. Or at least so this show leads me to believe. But this man walks onto the scene of a crime with his partner, and they meet up with this little rookie cop that they walk into a building, and there is a murder victim, unfortunate, and out of nowhere, all of a sudden, there's a man with a gun, shoots all three of them. You think he's dead. I mean, I did. We're seconds into this show, and the main lead on the ground, bullet hole in his neck. I'm hooked. Then you cut to the, the song, of the show with the image. Oh, great graphics. And then we cut to, oh, he's not dead. This man is now going to be assigned to cold cases, working them out of a basement. Also, there's this random side character who's not a side character. He's a main character, but at first he starts off as a side character called Akram. I would die for Akram. I want Akram. The Akram's the kind of guy that you marry. You know what I mean? You stay far, far away from Mork, is his name. But Akram, if someone gets near you, he'll take him down. He'll clean it up. No one will get caught. Well, he won't, at least. He will mess anybody up who comes near you, but he'll do it, and he's kind about it. I don't know. You need to watch the show. You need to watch the show, and you'll understand. You will die from Akram. You will. And then Rose is also a fun addition. Enjoyed her. So, yeah. Absolutely put this on your watch list. It had me in a what? What's that? What did it have me in? A chokehold. A chokehold. Couldn't breathe. Gasping for air. That's what it had me in. Oh my gosh. The last 24 hours, let me tell you, my brain has been consumed. When I wasn't watching it, I was thinking about it. Absolutely I was. Oh man, so freaking good. Go watch it. Go watch Department Q. Put that on the list. Put it on the list. It was so good. Also, I am way too close to this mic right now, and so I'm just going to record this little bit, and then I'm going to go to bed because I have work in the morning, and again, I'm a grown adult, and I can't be messing around like I have been going to bed so late. Okay, I got to get up at 6:30 in the morning. Oh my gosh. So just know it's going to sound a little different the rest of the episode once I go to bed and then re-record or just record whatever else I'm going to say on this episode. Yeah, I'm going to sound further away from the mic because right now my lips are basically touching it. Like, we're making out, me and the mic right now. And it's not okay, but it's dark. I'm hunched over. I was just in a frenzy to plug the mic in and speak into it because, oh, wow, that ending, that last episode, oh my gosh. I mean, Severance had a very suspenseful last episode. It really did. I mean, so much so that I had to skip a ton of it. Like, about every 30 seconds I was skipping something because I just couldn't handle it. This one I wanted to skip, but things were actually happening, so it forced me not to. But man, it was good. But also, you know what? I gotta be so honest. I gotta be so honest with you right now. When I'm watching any sort of cop show, you want to know one of the number one thoughts that's rolling through my head over and over again, just on an incessant loop. I could never do that. I could never be a cop. I could never put the clues together, put a bunch of stuff on a pinboard, and, look at it pensively and just work it out. No, that's not in my wheelhouse of abilities. Never has been, never will be. I'm not going to see what others don't see. I'm going to see what's on the page and look no further. I don't have enough curiosity. I am not good at collecting clues. I've never figured out who killed him in the candlestick, in the library, or whatever. Never. I've never been able to figure that out because I'm not good at it. I can't even tell you how to get from where I live to the grocery store I frequent in any direction. I'm gonna need a GPS. It's about a 4 or 5 minute drive. Yeah, couldn't tell you how to get there. Don't even know what direction to turn once you go to exit the building. I don't. So Again, we've talked about this before on previous episodes. I can't ID anything. I'm not observant. I'm not picking up on my surroundings ever. I could so easily be taken. No, I'm just kidding. That is why I did have to read books about my intuition and stuff. And like, I am vigilant in my own safety. I have to be, because I'm not observing anything around me, which is why I'm constantly with people and I never go anywhere dangerous. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true at all. I literally live in a foreign country as a solo female traveler. But okay, you know what? I feel like we've lost the plot. We're getting off track in this moment. I'm like having a heart to heart with myself, being like, girl, you need to be more vigilant with your safety. Probably true. Honestly, always true. But just in a crowd, in any sort of, I can't tell you the amount of times where someone will be like, oh, you didn't see that, thing? No, I didn't see the thing that I pass by every single day, 4 times a day. I can't say I've ever noticed it. Can't say it's ever crossed my mind or ever been on my radar. So few things are on my radar. My radar is just beep, beep, beeping away, slow pace, nothing's accelerating it, except for a good TV show. Beep, 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 beep. That's what's kicking up it into high gear. That's what's getting it going. Oh, was that a good book I just heard you talk about? Beep, 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 beep. Is that a good TV show? Should I try it out? Tell me about the plot. Beep, 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 beep. Hey, did you see that guy who was looking at you? No, I didn't. Oh, really? He was like staring at you for the past hour. Well, no, do you have a picture of him? No, never seen him. Oh, you know the guy you talked to, like, literally 30 minutes ago? You introduced yourself, met him? You, like, talked? Shoot, don't recall. But I could tell you the exact plot, episode by episode, of the last show I watched. It's very selective, my memory. What's being retained and filed versus what is just being thrown out the back. Yeah, it takes a lot to get on my radar if you are of actual importance, but if you're mundane and have no real relevance, consider yourself top priority. Alright, there's one last thing that I need to discuss, and this is A Man on the Inside. This is a show also on Netflix. Oh, I forgot to mention. Okay, you know what? Backtrack. Department Q, I am giving a solid 8.5 out of 10 on both my scale and the public. To be honest, I think it might be even a 9 for me, but I need to reflect. That's a thing. After you ingest something so quickly, did you really taste it? You know what I mean? Like, I am just chowing down. I was getting through that show. I mean, I binged the freaking crap out of it in the last 24 hours. And so, was it really that good? Or, I don't know. I was just swallowing really quickly. I mean, I was liking what I was ingesting, but I need to reflect on, was that actually good? I need a second opinion is really what I need. I'm gonna look at the reviews and stuff, and also talk to Lucy, who's also watching it, and then I'll come back and report. But for right now, just my immediate ranking right after watching, oh, so good. 8.5, maybe 9. I'll get back to you on that. Maybe 10. I don't know. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed it. But the other show that I watched also in a day, this was 2 days ago, so Friday, it was A Man on the Inside, also found on Netflix. And that one was absolutely adorable. This is by the same producers as The Good Place. And shout out to Courtney. She was the one that introduced this to me. We watched one episode together on Thursday. And then I thought, this is kind of cute. And then, I binged it on Friday. And I didn't really love The Good Place. I watched, I think, 2, maybe 3 seasons of The Good Place. And then I got bored. There was good elements to it, but it just didn't speak to me. The concept was fun, but yeah, I didn't love it. So I was a little unsure how I'd feel about A Man on the Inside. But it was awesome. It was just a turn your brain off good short episode binge. It has the main guy from The Good Place. Hold on, I am going to look this up. Give me 2 seconds to pull up IMDb. I know, I'm very selective in when I look things up and when I just tell you to look it up, but this just for some reason sounds important and feels important. Ted Danson. That's his name. He is the tall, skinny man with white hair, older. I think he's the one that admits Bella, oh my gosh, what is her name? Kristen Bell into The Good Place. He's like the main dude in that. Well, anyways, he's the main guy in this series, A Man on the Inside, and there's actually a lot of cast members from The Good Place in this show. They had a ton. Well, basically the premise, it's very simple. It's a very, very simple plot. There is this community home, like a old folks home, retirement, whatever you'll call it, and one of the residents had their necklace stolen. So her son hires a private investigator to figure out who in the building stole his mother's ruby necklace. And of course they suspect one of the staff members did it. So Ted Danson's character, Charles, he goes in undercover, a man on the inside, if you will, to discover who stole this necklace. And it's just like his investigation. Anyways, it's really, really great. I think a ton of people would thoroughly enjoy this. I mean, when it was finished, I thought I will absolutely watch another season of that. It was just delightful. Again, very simple, very, I don't know, it was just a good relaxing watch, one that you can be on your phone for all of you, ADHD, brain rotten folks out there. I get it. This one's a great one for that, because you don't really need much. It's entertaining, it has good writing, it's cute, it's funny. It made me tear up at one point. I was like, wow, whoa. Did this super, super simple plot get deep? Like, what? But no, I loved it. And I do highly recommend it. For me, it's going to be a solid 7. It's going to be a rewatch, a season 2, interest peaker. Yeah, I would say 7. I think more people are going to like it even more than I did. So I'm going to go 8 for the public. For A Man on the Inside. I'm pretty sure I just gave the title of that like 12 times. So girl, if you're thinking to yourself, wait, what was it called again? Now we're on the same boat. We're as unobservant as I am, okay? And we can't all be like that. I will say I am better at auditory learning. I mean, I'm comprehension and things. So maybe if I listened to the case, that might help. But if I'm visually looking at something, I'm missing it. I'm telling you that right now. But yeah, those are my 2 ratings on 2 shows that I just finished in the last 48 hours. My new semester starts tomorrow. It's gonna be a big day tomorrow. I have a lot going on, but nobody cares. You guys don't care. You have a lot going on. You probably have more going on. You probably have 5 kids, and you're 25, and you have a spouse. I just have me that I'm taking care of. I'm binging episodes over here. Like, my life isn't that hard. So you know what? You're right. I'll stop complaining. I need to go to bed. This is all. Thank you for tuning in. I'm really excited to see what I put after this. So let me just say, this is my segue to whatever I end up putting next. Different day, different rant, same attitude. But actually, I really liked Department Q, and I have some visceral anger to release with the topic I'm about to talk about. So I'm glad this is going to be just kind of a stitch and paste type of episode. Is it kind of fun? Is it fun to see the different elements? Just me on different days, This one day I had the 20-minute rant, and then I was like, phew, okay, time for bed. I'm tuckered out. And then here I am on another day being like, you guys! Maybe I should just do a 20-minute segment all week long, because I definitely have 20 minutes worth of content to say. Is it valuable? Probably not, but I have 20 minutes worth of stuff to talk about on a daily basis. That's a guarantee. So maybe this is Monday. It is Monday today when I'm recording this particular section, and the other one was on a Saturday. So maybe I should just do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all of the different things I have to say. But you know what? Maybe that's a stupid idea. Continuing on. This doesn't matter. What am I doing? Here's what matters. You guys, I am once again not okay. I'm not okay because I finished We Were Liars. And I am so upset, so messed up in my head that the rest of the night I am tossing and turning. Okay, I cannot get my mind to settle down. And then next thing I know, I'm waking up at 7:30 in the morning, and all I can think about, all my mind can dwell on, is the ending to that freaking show. And when I tell you that this show messed up my psyche, that is not an exaggeration. I feel effed up from the ending of We Were Liars. And you know what? We're going to get into it. Full spoilers ahead. Because I need to vent about this. And for the people that are like, don't spoil it. Okay, skip. You can skip then, girl. For the vast majority of you that I know are not TV watchers, that you just enjoy listening to me summarize things, this one's for you. And also, for the people who are TV watchers, don't watch this. Do not watch We Were Liars. Unless you read the book and you knew what was coming, which oh my gosh, I can't even, let's just get into it. This is found on Amazon Prime. And just know, I am about to spoil everything. I recorded my reaction, which I will post on the Instagram, because I just knew we were building up to something this whole time. I could not believe this ending. And to be honest, like, I was physically unwell after it occurred. It's not a happy ending, I'm telling you that right now. And I did feel lied to. I know that sounds stupid and counterintuitive when the show's literally called We Were Liars, but those producers lied to me so hard in that show. And I feel like every single person that said that was good or somehow worth the watch also lied to me. I feel tricked and betrayed, but also stupid, because the title of the show is literally We Were Liars. Let's give some context. Starting off, you have this uber rich family. You can think of them as like American royalty, all right? The Sinclair family. They have two parents. You got Papa Sinclair. He is a terrible racist old man. And then you have Mama Sinclair, who is the, like, you know, no one should ever see you cry, shoulders up type of woman, but everyone talks about her fondly. But really, she's kind of emotionally manipulative. And yeah, we don't like them, but it is what it is. So we have Mama and Papa Bear up at the top, rich as can be. They own an island. On this island called Beechwood, there is a giant mansion for Mama and Papa Bear. And then you have their little cubs, 3 daughters. And the 3 daughters each have their own little houses also on this island. And it's just their own private island. Okay, so you got the big mansion, and then you have the oldest daughter's house, and the middle daughter's house, and the youngest daughter's house. And yes, for those that have read the books and watched the series, I am skipping over details. You want to know why? Because they're not relevant, okay? You know what I'm talking about. I'm just getting to the basics, okay? For the people that aren't going to watch it, they don't need to know that there was actually a 4th sister that died, and we don't really know how, and blah, blah, blah. It's not important. It's not important. Learn how to summarize. Okay, so Mama and Papa Bear, they're 3 cubs, okay, 3 daughters, and they all look the freaking same, all of these people. Let me just pull up really quick my notes. When I started watching this series, I had a couple notes that I just jotted down, and here they are, just starting off. This first one says, I'm exactly 11 minutes into We Were Liars and I'm lost. First off, everyone looks the same. Am I supposed to be keeping track of all these families when they keep cutting away from each one of them every 0.5 seconds? And you have two of the girls that look like actual twins, but apparently they're not even sisters. Second, all of the teenagers are together, and you're telling me that these people are supposed to be 16 years old? Because for sure, I think that she means senior in college when she just said that she's hooking up with a senior and not that she's a freshman or junior in high school. Because they look like they're 30 years old, these these actors, okay? You're trying to tell me they're 16? Please. Next up I have, you want to know what's not fun? A sand fight. There's this scene of them being like idyllic and they're explaining the background, which I will get to in a second, but you have a scene where they're all having a sand fight on the beach. They're like, pouring sand over each other and like throwing sand. That is not fun in any reality or alternate reality. Have you ever had sand thrown at you? That crap gets in your eye like it's a target. It's awful. There's nothing fun about having sand in your hair, on your hands, getting in your face, in your mouth. That crap gets everywhere. And the second it's in your eye, you're done. You have contacts? You're gone blind. Like, no. Them fighting with sand, I was like, nothing on earth sounds less fun to me. If you want to be cute and playful, that's fine, but don't involve sand. Sand should not be thrown or dumped or played with in any way other than like kinetic sand on a desk in a tub so it's not going to make a mess. Okay, that's the only time that I'm okay with sand being messed with. Don't throw sand at me. Okay, now let's get to the plot. So, we established Mama Papa Bear, we have 3 cubs, and these 3 cubs, these 3 daughters, they all look the same. They literally look the same. They're all blonde hair, blue-eyed, really pretty, and each one of them have their respective children, okay? All you really need to know is that there are 4 teenagers. Yeah, the 4 16-year-olds that all look 30 years old but are pretending to be 16-year-olds. That's who we care about. 3 of them are cousins. They all are blonde hair, blue-eyed. 2 of the girls, they look like twin sisters, but they're actually cousins. Then there's a boy named Johnny. And then you have an Indian boy named Gat. And that is Johnny's mother's boyfriend's nephew. But again, that doesn't matter. All you need to know is there are 4 teenagers that are 16 years old. 3 of them are cousins. 1 of them's a family friend. Okay? And every summer, ever since they were children, they go to this island and they hang out for the entire summer. And there's a lot of traditions and it's over the top and super uber rich. They have catered meals every night and blah, 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 blah. That is the setting that we're in. When you start off the series, the first episode, even in the trailer, the main core of the entire series has to do with a character named Katie. She's one of the 4 teenagers, okay? Katie woke up on the beach one night, completely, body just destroyed. She had, cuts all over her hands. She was bleeding. She was half naked. She's, only in her bra and panties. And she wakes up on the beach in the freezing cold, and no one's around her, and she has amnesia. She does not remember anything except just a happy memory at the beginning of the summer, and then boom, she remembers waking up a couple months later just, completely wrecked, and she has amnesia, and nobody will tell her what happened. So, that's where we start off, is Katie trying to figure out what happened to her last summer. So, timeline-wise, it has now been a year, because she washed up at the end of last summer, and now it is the new summer. So last summer was 2016, this summer is 2017. And the show we'll do these flashbacks because you're in present day, 2017. She's on the island and she's regaining her memories of what happened in 2016. And really, the entire core of the show is just her trying to figure out what happened to her. How did she end up on that beach? Why does she have amnesia? Why will no one tell her what happened? Why did no one visit her? Like, she's trying to figure all of that out. Now, it's important to know that this group of her and her two cousins and her boyfriend, who's the family friend, they, all four of them together, are called the Liars. Because when they were little, they got up to a bunch of mischief. So, what am I saying? Mischief. So the adults all nicknamed them the Liars. And then they have younger siblings that are called the Littles. Okay? So, Mama Papa Bear, three little cubs, the Liars, and the Littles. That's all your characters here. And Katie, she's the one with amnesia. All right. We settling in? We're here for the story? Perfect. So, Katie shows up to this island now, a year later, and she's seeing the Liars for the first time. They never came to visit her while she was, like, recovering or anything like that. They didn't reach out, nothing. So she obviously feels, like, really betrayed because her last memories was them, like, having a good time on the island, and then all of a sudden she wakes up half naked and has amnesia, and, like, she hasn't heard from any of her friends plus cousins, you know? So she shows up to this island, and the Liars, they keep telling her that, you know, your mom told us to, like, stay away because you kept having episodes and seizures and stuff anytime that we would try and tell you what happened, like, it wasn't good for your recovery, so we haven't visited you. And this just, of course, like, really upset her because she's been suffering for a year with amnesia, not knowing what happened to her. So I totally get where she's coming from, you know, being mad at them. But she starts to piece things together. And I will say episode 1 through 4 were pretty good, just like laying the base of the story. You're really getting into these characters, how the three sisters, like the moms, how they all have serious issues with each other, and they also are all so money hungry. So they've all spent their trusts and they're trying to get more money from Mama and Papa Bear, and it's causing all these problems. You know, it's just rich people problems. Well, Mama Bear ends up dying of a heart attack in episode like 2 or 3. So they're kind of dealing with that. There's a lot going on this island in that summer. So there's, you know, it seems to be a pretty complex story. But the reason I bring this up is because episodes 5, 6, and 7 were literally so useless. Like, by the time I was hitting episode 5, just give it to me. Like, what are we doing? We're just prolonging this entire thing. I didn't feel like we were really going in a direction. We just had a bunch of added details that weren't adding a lot to the plot. It just felt very prolonged. And I ended up skipping a lot of episode 6 and 7 especially. Like, the 10-second skip button was my best friend. I was like, let's just get to it. And they keep flashing back to 2016 and then present day 2017. And, like, there just wasn't a lot of details happening to progress the plot. It just all felt like filler. Which is, again, what contributes to me saying don't watch this show. Because the whole thing is written kind of as this mystery, because it starts off with this girl who has amnesia and you're trying to figure out what happened to her. And then there's just so much crap in between that it has nothing to do with anything. It's not important. It really is not important. They're trying to almost fake you out and make you think it's about this thing, and this is what happened to her, and this is why they're lying. But ultimately, it's dumb. All of the fake outs, they were all half-baked. So I was bored by the middle episodes. But finally, we get somewhere. We're in the final episodes. So, like, part 2 of episode 7, and then episode 8 is the finale, okay? So Katie has been piecing together all summer her memories. And every step along the way, the liars have been lying to her and her family. Like, everyone's just been lying to her about what happened. And she keeps being like, was it traumatic? Like, did I hurt someone? Did someone hurt me? Like, what happened? Well, finally, we figure it out. And, oh my gosh. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. So, in the final episode, it comes out that what ended up happening was the liars were on the island by themselves due to a ton of circumstances that aren't important. The liars are on the island, and this entire summer they had seen their mothers just basically fighting it out over this inheritance, and they're just being mean and catty towards each other, and they just have no real values, and like she's like, my grandpa's a racist, and like they're just, this family's a mess. So these 4 teenagers decide that what if we just burned it all to the ground? Then we would kind of have this fresh start. You know, like, none of it matters. Our parents are in this huge fight over property and over all of these belongings. Like, what if it just went up in flames? So, I mean, it's teenage logic thinking, but I see where they were coming from. So they're around this campfire drinking, and they decide that this is what they're going to do. They're going to burn to the ground the big mansion, Mama and Papa Bear's mansion on the island. They're going to burn it all. So they each take a floor. You have Johnny up in the attic, then you have Mirren on like level 2 or something, and then you have Katie on level 3, and then Gat, the family friend and Katie's boyfriend, he is going to be the like boat getaway driver. And they're going to, you know, say that it was some accident or whatever. So they're pouring gasoline everywhere, and we're watching this final scene in episode 8 as the liars, Johnny, Mirren, Gat, are explaining to Katie what happened. So we're watching it, right? And they're storytelling and finally able to tell her what occurred. So they put gasoline everywhere, and the plan was that they each light a match, but they would start from the top down. So like Johnny in the attic would light the match first, and then he would come down the stairs, and then Mirren would light her match. They would go down the stairs. They would meet up with Katie, and then they would all run out the front door and go get on the boat where Gat was waiting. That was the plan. Well, Katie gets distracted. In fact, they all get distracted. But Katie gets distracted, and Katie ends up lighting the match. And, of course, they dumped freaking gasoline over this entire house. So Katie lights the match and throws it. And she runs out the door. When she's out the door, she then hears the dogs, because she forgot that the dogs were locked up in the house. The dogs are barking. So, of course, she is like, oh my gosh, these dogs are about to die. I'm about to murder these animals. So she runs back in the burning house to rescue the dogs. That's where she gets all these burns on her hand that she woke up with. So she tries to get the dogs out. She realizes she can't, and she has to leave the dogs. So at this point, her dress is on fire because she was, fighting to get the dogs out for a hot minute there. Hot, pun intended. So she runs out the door, and her entire dress is on fire. So she starts running towards the water. And what we see from the perspective of everybody else is they clearly did not put 2 and 2 together, that if you pour gasoline everywhere and then light a match, like, there's smoke, that's going to go up way faster than you think. So Johnny ends up getting stuck in the attic. Mirren gets stuck in the bedroom on the second level floor. And Gat, because he didn't see Katie come out, because she went back in for the dogs, and he loves her, Gat ran from the boat, the getaway boat, into the burning house to rescue Katie. But Katie wasn't there. Katie ended up coming out a different way when Gat went in to run to the ocean. So in the burning house is Johnny, Gat, and Mirren. and they all die in the house. They burn to death along with the 2 dogs. I'm sorry. What? What? So you see Katie in the water. She's looking at this burning house and she's screaming the names of her 2 cousins and her boyfriend. And obviously that broke me. I was like, what the freak is this? Because the whole time that she's been on that island in summer 2017, she's been with the liars. She's been with them. So it made me so mad because it was basically the trope of like, this all happened, oh, but it was all a dream. It was made up. Like, the liars were ghosts this whole time. All of her memories, were real, in 2016. Like, that was real because that was before they burned to death. But in present day, it then shows you that entire summer in, 2017 of all these times that Katie was talking with them and hanging out with them and just trying to figure out what happened to her. They weren't there. They were not real. They are ghosts this whole time. And she finally figures out why her brain freaking blocked the trauma, why she had amnesia, is because she murdered them. It was her fault that they all died. Like, she lit the match too soon. She didn't come out. Like, Gat went in to save her. Oh my gosh, this girl freaking killed 3 people and 2 dogs. What? What kind of payout is that also as like a viewer? I can understand tragedy. I can understand like a huge plot twist. But once again, this one felt cheap because you had this huge buildup. All these 7 episodes and you're like, what happened to Katie? Why won't they tell her? Why are the liars lying to her? Why is everybody a liar? Blah, 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 blah. They were dead the whole time. Like, the biggest liar of them all was the freaking author of this book or the producers on this show making us as viewers think that they were alive. And it just, it was so dumb to just be like, haha, gotcha, they're actually dead. It was so heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, but also pissed me the hell off. Because why would you do that? Why would you do that to me? I just invested 8 hours into this, and they're dead? All of them? Not just one. They're all dead. Oh my gosh. It was just... And then also, Katie's reaction to it, I felt was a little anticlimactic. And the fact that all these families, they each lost a child. And they're not upset. Like, yes, we see them, like, slightly emotional, but your children died in a house fire that they started. I mean, obviously, Katie is really the only one that, like, knows how it really started. Well, her and Papa Bear, but that doesn't matter. He ended up figuring it out. But, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the whole thing. I think it was a waste of my time, that's for sure, because I hate things that make me feel angry, just for no reason. And yeah, no, I'm pissed off. Don't watch it, because everyone is dead in the end. It's so dumb. I'm so upset about it. Overall, I would give it a rating of 5 out of 10. Those middle episodes were just so slow. Everything else was like okay. Filming wise, it was alright. Acting was fine. I didn't feel like we were going anywhere, and then all of a sudden you throw this huge, massive plot twist at me, and I didn't like it. So, Public, I would probably give a 6.5 out of 10, because y'all are masochists and like stuff like that, but I say don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's miserable, it's kind of boring in the middle, and in the end, it's a cheap ending because it was all a lie. Every second that you watched was a lie. So let me just be the voice of truth to tell you it's not that good and you shouldn't watch it. I haven't read the book, but I can guarantee you I will not be reading it. So thank you so much. But I don't want to read an entire book only to find out that the whole thing was basically fake. Like, you made me think one thing and it wasn't reality. And that I don't like. So there you go. That is We Were Liars. Alright, people, we are back for the conclusion of this 3-part episode. I just finished mere moments ago Oxford Year. Or is it My Oxford Year? Hold on. My Oxford Year. Oh, this is on Netflix. No. Off the bat, 3.5 out of 10. I hated it. I watched 90% of it on 1.5 speed. And even then, the last quarter, it was just skip with the 10-second button. I couldn't care less. Actually, that's not true. I could care less. Wait, I couldn't? No, I could, I could care less, meaning I cared a little bit, I cared enough to finish. When you couldn't care less, that's when you have no care at all. So I would have stopped it if I couldn't have cared less. But I did. I could care. That's so stupid. Okay, here were my biggest qualms. First off, before I get into what I hated about it, I think a lot of people are gonna find it entertaining and think it was cute, which annoys me, because it was just so stupid. Oh my gosh, the writing of that movie was written from the perspective of a 13-year-old American girl who dreams of going to England. Like, that was the vibes it was giving me. Oh, the main character, what's her name? Anna. I literally watched this not less than 10 seconds ago. I just completed it and I can't even remember. Yeah, Anna. So Anna, she is so stinking insufferable. I watched these videos on Instagram of a couple different people, and they will do like parodies kind of it'll be captioned the insufferable girl or teen in, you know, a drama or something, and they'll just do all the stereotypes of what you see. Oh my gosh, she was the stereotype of the insufferable lead in some teen show, but they just happen to be adults. Okay, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's back up. What is My Oxford Year about? Well, it's a movie on Netflix, and it's about an American girl named Anna. And she is gonna go do a year at Oxford studying Victorian poetry. I mean, just right then and there, did you not feel that? Did you not feel the pretentiousness of this plot? Victorian poetry? Get a grip. Are you serious? Okay. She arrives fresh off the plane with her simple little backpack and one luggage that was so neatly packed. First off, as someone who has lived abroad many times, that ain't close to the truth. All right, no, your bag, the cute little things that she had in it, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the fact that she's only taking one single suitcase and a backpack for a year in England. And, and you're also saying that she's poor. Because if she was rich, sure, I could believe that. Because she's just going to buy stuff there, right? Like, they have clothes in England. But you're saying that she is this daughter of immigrants. She's very poor, but she's going to go do this year at Oxford, live her dream. And that's what she's bringing. She's bringing one luggage and one backpack. BS. Okay? Actual bullcrap. Yeah, no, we won't get into it here and now, but you require a lot more luggage to literally move your life abroad. Okay? Talking from experience. And not just, 3 weeks where I did some little study abroad. No. I have moved my entire life to other countries. Okay? It requires a little bit more luggage. So, off the bat, I'm already disillusioned and being like, okay, I see what we're doing here. We're romanticizing, which typical. Typical, I get it. Girly, I get it. We're going to romanticize the quote unquote American moving to Europe. Europe being an entire continent, which we are encapsulating by the one English speaking country. London, Oxford. Well, actually, London isn't in Oxford. Oxford is Oxford its own city? Shoot, I should know this. I literally had Jess, who works in an Oxford library, on the podcast. So if you haven't listened to that episode, honestly, go back and listen to it because I learned so much. And one of the biggest things that I learned from that entire conversation with Jess was the fact that when you say that you're going to Oxford, that's so stupid because you're going to a college under Oxford. You're not going to Oxford. You pick a college and then you go to that college. If none of this is making sense, go listen to that episode with Jess. Like, they explained it so well, and I do understand it way better now that I'm here in Australia and I live at a college and I attend a university, although still mine's slightly different because even though all of us here at the college, we attend the actual university, whereas at Oxford, you would just attend the college. You're not attending Oxford. That's not how that works. But, for the simplicity of it all, and this is why people think Americans are stupid, because you do this. You oversimplify things and explain them in a false way, and so then, heaven forbid, we think that you were telling the truth. Like, how are we supposed to know the nuance of, like, Oxford isn't real? Like, not in the sense of how universities are a thing and then you just, like, live. It's different. It's completely different. And I find it kind of insulting that people are like, Americans are so stupid. They don't know anything. Okay, well, you never explained it to us and we don't have it like how you have it, okay? Sorry. But you do crap like this where in the media and in the movies and stuff, you just say, like, oh, she got accepted to Oxford. And then you don't expound upon the fact that she's actually in a college. You know what? I'm getting off track here. I'm losing the plot. Let's get back to it. You have Anna. She arrives in Oxford. Oh, I was going to see if that was a city. Hold on. Oxford is in the city of Oxford, which is about 60 miles or 90 kilometers northwest of London. Okay, now that we have that established. So she arrives, all smiles, and then all of a sudden, oh no, she's faced with the copious amounts of stairs that she has to climb. Now that's true. The fact that she was just smiling with her luggage, I was like, nah, girl, like, there's so many cobbled streets and different stuff, but they did show the authentic mountain of stairs that she had to climb. Well, anyways, she stares out a window. Everything is just a dream, and it is. Like, I'm not meaning to sound just holier than thou. I'm better than everyone. Like, it's not even that cool. Like, no, it is so cool. It is genuinely incredible to move to a new place, especially I can speak to the experience of being an American where our country is fairly new. It's in perspective of, the European continent. When you're talking about something like Greece, all right, my small little pea-sized brain can't even comprehend the history of Greece, of the ancient Greek. I literally can't fathom. I cannot understand because America was established not that long ago when you really put things into a timeline scale, So it is really cool to go from being in America to now you have all of this rich history on the European continent. Now, I, of course, cannot speak to the experience of being at Oxford in that city or anything. I mean, I was in Switzerland, which is a completely different country, and they are not the same, but there was still, of course, a lot of historical significance, and I was like walking around, and they're giving a tour, and they're explaining how these cobblestone streets have been here since, some ridiculous date back, and I'm like, I cannot understand how that is possible. Like, my brain does not go that far back. There's a mental block there. So, anyway, she's taking it all in, and I do love that. And I think that that is very authentic and real, and it is really cool to pick up and leave and go to a new place, especially a new country, a new continent, whether you're an American moving somewhere else or, someone from another country going to America or any other country. Like, that is an exciting, cool thing, and I don't want to discount that experience just because maybe, like, the slight novelty has worn off on me. It's still dope every time. It is. It's cool. You sound cool. It feels cool. Like, it's fun. It's exciting. It's exhilarating. It is all of those things. Okay? So I get why, of course, it's romanticized, because there is this romantic element to it, right? And then reality hits. When you have to, like, go buy your groceries and you're, like, sweating and there's no AC and, like, but nobody wants to talk about that. But for the moment when you arrive, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting and amazing. And that was shown, I feel like, pretty well in this movie. But Anna, she goes to get fish and chips, and she's walking outside, having her main character moment. Girl, been there, done that, do it all the time. I go on my little main character walks, and it's awesome. I highly recommend to anyone, anywhere. Just go on a walk, put those headphones in, listen to old Disney jams. That's what I do. Like the Cheetah Girls, The Party Has Just Begun, that's what I'm jamming to. And I'm just basking in life. And it's incredible, and I just feel so amazing. And for me, I'm lucky enough to be like, oh my gosh, I'm in Australia right now. That's insane. But I did the same thing when I was in Utah, because I was like, look at these mountains. Like, I just live here. That's incredible. So she's having that moment, and this car comes by and splashes her, because he drives into a puddle and it soaks her to the bone. She's pissed, of course, and then she's at a fish and chip shop. This guy comes in, and who is the guy but Prince Eddie? No. Oh my gosh. He's from Queen Charlotte. Is it Eddie? Hold on. Please hold. George. King George. So in the Bridgerton prequel, you have King George, and oh my gosh, I had the biggest freaking crush on him when that came out. That Queen Charlotte, that just one season is so good. Heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, but holy crap, I do recommend that. I do not fully recommend nor endorse the Bridgerton series as a whole, but Queen Charlotte, I do. When he says that line, when she's like, do you love me? He's like, I love you. My heart sings your name. I cannot breathe when you are not near. I love you, Charlotte. Yeah, that was so amazing. So he is the guy in my Oxford year, and I was so pumped because I have loved him since that line, really, since Queen Charlotte. But unfortunately, he did not deliver. He did not, and neither did our main lead, Sophia, who I do like. I do enjoy her, but she has disappointed me in her last two films, The Life List and this one. Yeah, just has not been great. So anyways, she's in this chip and chip? Nope. A fish and chip shop, and she's soaking wet. And in comes, the cute guy, and he looks at her, and they have a moment, and then she realizes he was the driver of the car that splashed the puddle. Then, flash forward to the next day, she is in class, and who is her professor? But the Puddle Man. And then they start to have, relations, But you know what? Spoiler. Prepare yourself. Gird your loins. I'm going to spoil this. They are just casual, having fun, you know, being pretentious, talking about Victorian poetry, acting like it, like, really is something super deep, which I'm sure it is, but, like, this movie was taking it too far. Anyways, they're just, like, having casual, just fun times, and then it turns out he's dying of cancer. Sad. Normally, I love this kind of trope. I know, morbid and weird, but I do love the whole, like, idea of live in the present. You don't know how much time you have left, respecting people's decisions, whatever they may be, whether seeking treatment or not. Like, I really do love, you know, grappling with these very serious topics and romance and love. I love all that stuff. So it sucks that they did it so terribly because they could have done a lot with it. But instead, it was just lame. It was just dumb. And he ends up dying in the end, which, again, I'm fine with, but it was trying to be profound. It genuinely was. Like, from the moment it began and her narration was on top of, you know, the video sequence of, like, I've done everything. I graduated from this prestigious university, summa cum laude, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to spend this year at Oxford. Like, it was trying to be important and trying to be profound. And unfortunately, that train stopped a little short and instead only hit the station of being pretentious. And I wrote this down in my notes section of my phone. I said that this movie is the definition of pretentious, and then I did, wait, hold on, what does pretentious mean again? Because I wanted to make sure I was not inaccurately saying what I was meaning. So here's the definition of pretentious for anyone that needs reminding, which I did. Attempting to impress by affecting greater importance, talent, culture, etc. than is actually possessed. That is literally the definition of this movie. Now listen, I understand I myself can be quite pretentious, alright? So I do think because of that, I am in the perfect position to be able to call it out. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I am the pot calling the kettle black, but only because I know what color I am. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we can switch that saying a little bit more. I think it's easier to point something out in somebody else that and you can see it more quickly because you don't like it in yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Watching this movie, I was like, oh my gosh, she's insufferable. Probably because some people think that about me, which is probably true. Oh, man. But just know I didn't like it, and I think it was really dumb, and I don't think you should watch it. You're probably going to watch it anyways, but honestly, there's just so many better movies out there. Even newer movies. Like, this one was just not that great. The writing was dumb. Oh, I hated the soundtrack. The soundtrack was so awful. It was almost comical how bad it was. I did not like it at all. It didn't move me in any sort of way. Again, it was trying to be important. It was trying to be profound, talking about the frailty of life and, you know, that we need to live each day. You never know when it's going to end. Like, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then make me feel that. Don't just tell it to me. You know, that show it to me. Do something more. You are a visual, artistic representation of your message. Don't verbalize it in my face. I could read an audiobook instead. You know, I'm watching a movie for a different reason, to get a message in a different format. And so I really don't like it when they were just trying to force feed me this message, but it had no feeling behind it. It just felt very forced, you know? It didn't have beauty that they were trying to tell me that it had. Like, don't tell me, show me. Show me the beauty. Show me the frailty of life, you know? I know the frailty of life. I have some experience with that. Like, I know that you never know when this time on Earth is going to be finished. You know, I have 2 dead friends that we lost completely suddenly, and I was faced with that immediate reality that you really never know what could happen, and that changed the course of my life. It changed my outlook on life, on how I treat other people, how I view myself. It changed everything, right? And I feel like that shows itself in my behavior, in not only my speech and what I say to people, but how I live and the choices I make. And if I were to depict that on screen, I would show it more than I would verbalize it. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, remember how I was talking about being pretentious? Maybe that's what I'm just trying to be. Or maybe I'm not trying, I just am. Which, that's fine. But this movie was not great, and take it off the list. Also, we're getting overtime here on this podcast episode, so I'm going to end it here because I need to go write a paper for my forensic sexology class, which I think in the next podcast or one coming up, I'm going to talk about the classes that I'm taking this semester, because forensic sexology is so freaking fascinating, and I really want to have a conversation about it, even if the conversation is to my wall for all of you to listen to. So, thank you all for listening. You know what? Instead of ending on this negative note of a show you shouldn't watch, let me tell you something to go listen to, because the visuals failed us this week, but I listened to a phenomenal podcast today. I've been a huge fan of this podcast for a while, and I actually reached out to them, and I really hope that I can go on their podcast. But, this is me manifesting. Thank you for being here for that. The Soloists podcast. I've talked about it before. Single members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who are in their mid-30s. Fantastic podcast. But they had on my hero, my idol, the woman herself, Dr. Jennifer Finlayson. 5. Cue the applause. I love that woman. And if I can be her or just like her one day, then I feel like my mission will be accomplished. I don't want to be her because obviously I have my own journey, my own life. But she is such a role model to me, and I love her work. I listen to her podcast every week. I subscribe to her paid podcast, Room for Two. I am obsessed with her work. She's coming out with a new book. I'm pumped to read it. But anyways, she had a deeply moving conversation with Mallory Everton and Diana. Oh, shoot. I don't know what Diana's last name is. Diana something. So good, though. Love this podcast. But that episode, What Does Sexual Maturity Look Like? Fantastic. I also loved the episode right before it, Becoming a Single Parent by Choice. 2 active members of my religion who are in their, I think it was 40s, that decided to become single parents, and one was a man, he has 2 kids, and then one's a woman, she has a daughter. It was phenomenal. It was absolutely fantastic. I loved everything about it. I love the conversations that are on this podcast. I find it deeply inspiring and also completely applicable to my life. So I love when you can just, find your people, find your tribe, your community. I hope that some of you feel that way about this space right here, that you feel like you have found a sense of community, of someone that shares. I mean, we don't have to share the exact same values and opinions. You may love my Oxford year and we were liars, and that's fine. But someone that can express their opinion and have similar ways of looking at life to you, and that you can feel seen and heard through this podcast. That's my hope, is that we can all, grow together. And with that, have a fabulous week, you guys. Wish me luck on my many, many papers that I'm going to write this semester. I hope that you guys are going to get some podcast episodes this semester. Here's hoping. Have a great week. Thanks for listening to my thoughts on life, because this has been Life According to Nikki.